Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Buffalo Bills Pat Carosa channel, where I talk to you about the Buffalo Bills and my experience as a Buffalo Bills fan as well. And I've been counting down the list of my top 10 Buffalo Bills games of all time, and we were at number 5, which was the Bills Oakland game in 2008, where the Bills won in the last second. And my dad and I saw Al Davis uh, in the car on the ride home. So the next one is number 4, which is the Dallas Monday night game in 2007. And what you got to remember about this game is it was the Bills' first Monday night football game in like 15, 16 years that they're hosting. And the fans were so jacked up for this game because you want games in prime time and you want games on prime time at home. And the Bills during this time were just not a good team. They were not of national exposure. So they won't get these games. And when they get these games, you have to make the most of it. So during this time, it was just so exciting to have a Monday night football game in Buffalo. And it's against the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, and they were really good that year. They had Tony Romo, Jason Witten, a really good defense. T.O., I mean, they had a lot of good players, and they were favored by like, I don't know, 11, 12 points. I mean, they were heavy favorites. Everyone thought the Bills were just gonna roll over and die against the Dallas Cowboys, and that it was going to be an easy game for the Dallas Cowboys. Well, in typical Bills fashion, it wasn't. And before I get into this game, in training camp of that year at St. John Fisher, my dad said, "Watch out for George Wilson. Watch out for George Wilson, the receiver turned safety. If he gets opportunities, he has a chance to make plays because he was making plays during training camp." And my dad said, "Just look out for him. Just look out for him." And I bet he's going to be starting this season. So okay, we go into that game. The Bills were at that time, I believe, 2-2. I can't remember, but the Bills looked in like an okay team. The second year of Dick Duran, and they had Trent Edwards as quarterback for that game. So Trent Edwards, Marshawn Lynch, J.P. Lossman got hurt that game, and they were probably 1-3 because J.P. Lossman got hurt, and then they won in Trent Edwards' first start against the Jets. And so here we are on Monday night. And I remember that was my first Monday night football game or primetime game ever. And it was unique. My folks, my uncle, my dad, everyone picked me up from school because I had like a tryout for a musical that day. And it's definitely different walking into that stadium at night. It's definitely different. The field is a lot brighter. The lights are a lot brighter. Everyone is just so jacked up and could just feel the energy as you walk into the stadium, as you take your seats. And the game started in the Bills' favor. And one of the first big plays of the game was Tony Romo throwing a pick six to George Wilson. He returned it for a touchdown, and we were jumping up and down. Everyone was jumping up and down. It was amazing. The atmosphere was amazing. Fans were going crazy. I turned to my dad. I was like, "Wow, you called that. You called that in training camp that he was going to make a big play, and you did. That's amazing." And then not only that, Tony Romo had another interception and another interception. He had another pick six. Chris Kelsey batted a ball and caught it in the end zone for a touchdown. Everything was going the Bills' way. Everything. Well, as we learned last weekend as well, not a lot of things go the Bills' way a lot of times. So, so the Bills were still leading toward the end of the game, and I mean, it was just, I mean, that stadium was rocking that night, just rocking, and the Cowboys got within two, then they had to go for a 2-point conversion to, I believe, take the lead. And I remember Jabari Greer knocked the ball away from To, and the Bills are going to win. The Bills are going to win. They just had to recover an onside kick. That was it. So we were headed out because my uncle likes to leave the game early. Because honestly, I think a lot of us thought the game was over at that point. The Bills were going to recover an onside kick. So I was walking up and I was kind of looking down a little bit. I don't know, just watching my steps. Those steps, let me tell you, are not easy to walk up, let me tell you. Even for a 13, 14-year-old kid, yeah, no. It's not easy to walk up. And, I was looking down, watching my step, and the onside kick was coming, and I noticed a fan was jumping up and down, like, oh, that must have been a Bills fan. I looked up, it was a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I'm like, huh? And I looked, and the Cowboys recovered the fumble. Are you kidding me? The Dallas Cowboys recovered the fumble. I'm like, okay, the Bills are still gonna win. I mean, they have no time left, and maybe they had one timeout. I don't remember, but either way, they're gonna win. So, I mean, I was tired at this point. I was so tired, and rides home from primetime games are not fun because you're so tired, you're so knocked out, and even going to school the next day. I mean, I was falling asleep. It was not fun. So, we were walking on the stadium and you could still hear, from the parking lot, which we walked across to get to Marky's, which is where the new stadium is going to be, in that parking lot that we go across, which is across from the stadium. You could still hear the roar of the crowd. It was amazing, and sadly, the Bills lost. The Cowboys kicked a game-winning field goal with no time remaining to win, to escape. It was one of those classic Bills letdowns during the Bills playoff drought. But wow, I mean, what an amazing, amazing, amazing game to go to, an amazing atmosphere. I mean, it deserves to be top five, even if the Bills won or lost, because first primetime game I ever went to, but also just honestly one of the most amazing experiences ever at the stadium. So that's number four, the Dallas Monday Night Football game in 2007.